It is almost winter, y'all, and that means it is the perfect time for a DIY project. So if you are considering a solar installation for your van, camper, or RV, this video is the perfect place to start. We're going to be talking about the things that you want to consider and do before you dive in.
Hey everybody, I'm Hutch.
And I'm Sherry.
And we are Freedom in a Can. And we've been living over 9 years in our vintage camper, which is solar powered. Now, solar was a key ingredient to living our lifestyle because it allows us to break free from expensive campsites and full hookups. But we didn't know that much about solar when we first started out. In fact, we knew it worked and that we needed it. So we started really small and we gave ourselves room to grow as we learn more about the science and the technology behind the power.
And we have been doing DIY projects for decades. So we were like, we got this. And since our first solar installation, we have helped thousands of people find solar independence on the road.
So let's get to it. So learning a new skill. Any new skill can be a little unsettling. At best, we worry about doing something that might make us feel foolish. And at worst, we're like totally obsessed about putting holes in our RV. But as lifelong educators, we can tell you that you've got to balance out those perceived risks with those tangible skills that you're going to gain. Gaining new skills now will pay dividends in the future, especially if you're planning to live on the road, because doing any part of this installation yourself will help you troubleshoot your system if and when something goes wrong down the line.
Now we have put together a DIY quiz for newbies. These are yes or no questions that you're going to ask yourself before jumping into any DIY project. Now your time is precious, and this is where you need to be completely honest with yourself. Any project is going to take time, sometimes 3 times longer than you think it's going to take. And that's time away from other things. So this is where you need to do a cost benefit as to whether or not you're going to do it yourself or hire somebody to do it for you. Neither is perfect because even hiring out is going to take some time. Now, it's one thing to be able to have a place to park your rig. It's another to be able to have the space to work on it. Make sure to check with your community regulations because not every neighborhood allows RVs to be parked long term. To be fair, we installed our recent upgrades while boondocking in the Arizona desert. There is a lot of information out there, some really good, some bad, and some downright ugly. Now, we try to make our resources easy to follow and understand, but you're still going to have to do a little bit of work ahead of time before you jump into it. And this goes back to issue number 1, which is time.
And we'll go over the tool section a little bit later on in the video. Keep in mind, you don't need a lot of expensive ones. You just need a few basic tools, either in your own toolkit or in the garage of a good friend. And speaking of friends, none of us get by without them. For the price of a 6-pack and maybe some dinner, can you enlist the help of that friend or family member with really great handy skills to get you started on your solar project? And keep in mind that we offer assistance and advice to anyone doing their own project at no cost. All you got to do is reach out. Hit us up in the comments section below and we'll get back to you. Now, until we did our first solar installation, I don't think I really had a reason to understand this distinction. So if you're confused, you're not alone. Solar panels collect and batteries store direct current, DC power, while home electrical outlets provide alternating current, AC power. So if you've done any electrical work on your house, many of the skills still apply to an off-grid DC project. But there are some important differences to learn, and these are highlighted in the resource section.
Can you bake a cake? Then you can probably follow a wiring diagram and a step-by-step installation project. However, what you have to be able to do is apply the instructions to the reality of your own installation. It's kind of like altering a recipe that you love for someone who has dietary restrictions. Sometimes saying something out loud and having the other person say, yeah, you're not crazy, is so helpful. And remember, we are here for you as well. While it's important to assess this, certainly don't dwell on it. If you can follow diagrams, wiring and fusing recommendations, and personal safety precautions along the way, an electrical installation can be very straightforward and quite empowering. Pun intended.
So let's go over your answers. If you answered mostly yes, hello, handy person. You've so got this, and you will be rewarded with a functioning and efficient solar-powered system that meets your needs. Pass on what you have learned, young Jedi. Help us rid the campgrounds of the world of those noisy gas-powered generators. Is it mostly maybe? Do you or don't you do this project? That is the question. But maybe you just do a part of the project and let a professional handle the other part. If you're feeling uneasy, back it up with more research, a little bit more practice. I mean, we know people who have done complete dry runs of their installation before drilling a single hole into their RV. Just ask yourself, what is your free time worth to you? And remember, there's no shame in asking for help or hiring a professional.
Mostly no? As Hutch said, there is absolutely no shame in genuinely assessing your skills, your time, and your desires. And with more professionals out there doing the work, there's more solar power out in the world. But do keep in mind that hiring a professional does not guarantee a problem-free installation. So do your homework, get your references before putting down a deposit.
Let's talk about tools for a minute. Most of what you're going to need is going to be found in your own workshop or in the garage of your best friend. But keep in mind that we did our last 2 upgrades in the Arizona desert, boondocking with just the tools that we had with us. Probably the most basic tool besides a hammer. You'll need a couple of sizes of both Phillips and standard screwdrivers. Cutting wire cleanly will make your project so much easier and efficient. And if you don't have a lot of hand strength, there are ratcheting wire cutters that use mechanical advantage to help you overcome clipping through a heavy gauge wire with just one hand. Removing the insulation on a wire to make a good connection is super important in any electrical project, and this tool makes it a lot easier. Making connections between wires and components are easier with the right terminal on the end of the wire. The crimper tool binds down on the terminal material, marrying the 2 pieces together. This way you can easily connect or disconnect a wire from a solar component. Needle nose pliers are awesome for getting at all those little fiddly bits of wires, nuts, bolts. General pliers can be used in so many different ways. And lastly, vice grips just help you get a hold of something to lock it on down.
Probably the best $20 we ever spent was on a decent socket set, and we've found hundreds of uses for it. An adjustable crescent wrench will work in a pinch, but sometimes there are just places where you really need a socket. With this tool, you can drill all the holes necessary for your install, as well as drive-in screws to secure your components. If you only have room for one power tool in your van or RV, this is the one to have. A sharp blade sure comes in handy in so many parts of the application, from opening the box to trimming insulation. Remember, measure twice and cut once. This goes along with every project. And a 25-foot tape will do the trick in most cases. Understanding how and when to use a voltage meter will help you build, connect, and troubleshoot any electrical situation. And if this tool confuses you, there's a how-to video in our resource section.
Now, when we first started out on our solar-powered adventure over 10 years ago, the only resources we could find were written for electricians and engineers. And now you could literally lose your mind with all the resources that are available.
So to make it a bit easier for beginners, we have sifted through the good, the bad, and the ugly of what is out there and put together a comprehensive list on our own website. So let's give you a tour. Okay, so when you get to freedominacan.com, I just want to point out that if you would like to receive our newsletter, you can sign up here with your email address or follow us on social media, and those are the buttons that you need for that. And head on over to our resources tab and scroll down to Solar Powered by Renogy. If you scroll down just a little bit, you're going to see, if you're new to solar, these resources will get you started. The first thing is the Solar 101 video, a beginner's guide to off-grid solar. And this is a great place to start. It's going to give you a comprehensive overview of the components that you need, as well as how to size a system to meet your personal energy demands. Now, there's a lot of terminology in that video. And if you're new to it, the Unscrambling the Alphabet Soup of Solar Terminology is a great place to start. We have been living since 2012 with a very small system, so we know a thing or two about how to really maximize a small one. So when you are ready to dive into the installation, the ultimate DIY guide to off-grid solar is where you need to start. This is a blog where we've put together a number of different resources. And remember, we have winnowed and sifted from a lot of what's out there into what our favorites are. Go on over to Getting Started, and there are things for you to read, as well as things for you to watch. Scroll down a little bit and you'll start to see that we have it broken down by the different components. So under solar panels, things to read, as well as things to watch. And we've also included some wiring diagrams along the way. Next component is charge controllers. Again, articles and blogs to read, as well as videos to watch. So you get the idea here. We go through batteries, down to inverters, and then we talk about ways to monitor your system, as well as optional ways to recharge your batteries when there's low sun availability. And finally, some special considerations for self-driven versus tow-behind RVs. There's some great components out there to really boost the power that you get. Now, if you head back over to the Solar Powered by Renogy tab on our website, scroll down just a little bit, we have listed out for you all the different components that we have used for Hamlet's solar powered system. So this is what we have in our travel trailer. And if you scroll down a little bit further, you'll see this is what we have in our truck, and this powers our 12-volt cooler. And we've included 2 different installation videos showing you how we have included all of those components.
So we hope this video has gotten you started on your journey to your solar powered dreams. We love to help, so hit us up in the comments section of this video, subscribe to the channel, or reach out via our website.
And don't forget that we can get you a discount on Renogy solar gear. So use that affiliate link and promo code CANLIFE to get 10% off. Best of luck with your project. We'll see you on the road.